Hello. Before we dive into part 2 of this episode, I gotta ask, did you catch part 1? If not, hit pause real quick. You'll want to start from the beginning to get the full effect. The link to part 1 is right down in the description below. Go ahead, catch up, and we'll be right here waiting for you, ready to dive into part 2 when you're all set. It's worth it, I promise. What's been the biggest marketing mistake you guys have made?
Well, this is related to AdWords, where it was, we accidentally turned off the geo that advertised to the entire country. This is when we were only in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I think we racked up, $20,000 in 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
And we were out, and my husband and I were looking at, he's our COO. So he does like a lot of the marketing stuff. And so he was like, oh my God. And we were like out, and we're like, what is that? And we saw the number, the dashboard. And so we had to like change it. Google gave us back like $500 or something. And it was basically like, you're bad. We're like, oh no. So that was like, so now we babysat it at the beginning. Now we've got it kind of just unlocked. It's been years, but probably that. That's
a big one.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you're spending that money where your customer is, where you are, so that you're not, spraying a brand. You know what is spray and brand.
Yeah.
So my next section in the podcast is called the lightning round. It's just a little bit of a quicker answer, and really to help us see more about your favorite insights, your tools, your inspirations, really kind of what informs who you are and your business. Mm-hmm. Share a fun fact about your business that even maybe your most dedicated clients might not know. Like, is there a quirky behind the scenes tradition you guys have, or something that is like, do you have like a talisman? Do you have like,
is there something? So it's just some fun stuff. So when everybody came back into office after COVID, and people are like, I have to like put on my big girl pants and like come back in the office. We made the whole team Thrive Snuggies and like Thrive like slivers with like their names on it. And we're like, here's your Snuggies. Let's help the reentry into wearing pants at the office. And then we had a return to work party where we had a business on top, party on the bottom. And we had all the therapists wear what they had worn in session. And it was so cute. Like one of them like taped like, like candy wrappers to or like shorts that she was wearing. And then like, it was hilarious. Pajama bottoms, all the things. Yeah. So yeah, which was fun. Yeah.
That's fun. How do you connect with new clients? Like, how do you build that relationship with new clients to help build that trust? Because I feel like, as marketers, we always are building we're building trust. Like, people have to know who we are. They have to like what we're doing, and they have to trust us with this. And I feel like what you do as a service business is really, you said you're the vault. So how do you build trust with clients? Like, how does that process look?
This was a mistake that I made probably with marketing early on. And I think I didn't put my face out there enough. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think about the fact that especially with such a small, we're not a small company based on like what we do, but like, just in the grand scheme of things, there's not that many people in it. Who I am is so important. And I'm the one who hires the therapist. I'm the one who makes sure like what our policies are. I'm the one who like creates the safety around it. And I was very shy about putting my face out there for whatever reason. I'm over it now, but obviously, yeah. I think it's like it's almost like you build an avatar of your company and then like project your personality into it anyway. Just be you, And so that was something that like now what I do a lot more, I'm like a very honest, direct person. What you see is what you get kind of way of being. And so I'm like, I just put it out there. So again, like the videos were, on each of our pages on our website, make videos to talk about different topics. I make a lot of content, talk directly to the clients. Because I think if they can trust me, then they should be, then they can trust my business. And I really stand behind that because I'm the final say of that. So, I think that just being honest and being willing to put my face out there.
If Thrive Psychology Group had a voice, what emotion or word would resonate from its like core, the center of its being?
Oh my goodness. These are great questions. What word? In some ways, the name itself is really thought out, like thriving. It's really about, I think, just an ownership of your life and your dreams, authenticity, just showing up and being willing to take a risk for who you are and what you really care about and put yourself into that. So I guess, I would say empowerment, but that's a very misunderstood word. Because people don't want to think about how much accountability comes with empowerment, right? Like at the end of the day, we are empowered to really make our lives what it is. And that's what I really challenge people to do. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. Like I said, as a founder, there's not many people we can't really punch up. There's nobody up. So but I think for a lot of people, it's easier to just flame. And it's like, okay, this is what it is. Yeah, this sucks. And what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? So I think that.
We do the same thing though. I feel like I actually kind of joke, and I don't mean it like in any kind of disrespect to your profession in any way, shape, or form. So I hope it's not taken that way. Yeah. You don't know me very well, so I don't want to, but I joke I'm a marketing therapist because I look at where they've been, where they are now, where they want to go, and what's getting in their way, and how is there a resource or some service we can to help them. But so often they are so lonely and have no one else to talk to, that we have to help them process a lot of that. And because we're the ones that are in the business, we're understanding profitability, we're understanding like all of those things. We're the most intimate in the business with them as a partner, and oftentimes the first partner they will hire outside of their own skill set. We see them in a very vulnerable way, and we're helping them get clear, and we're kind of testing them. And oftentimes, like our deep dive, our Spark, our brand Spark, it's a 90-minute deep dive. They cry.
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, really emotional to like talk about your business. It's your baby. It's everything. This is a real process. So I say it very lovingly that I'm like a marketing therapist.
Oh, I'm not offended. No, I think I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah.
But I think people, this idea of thriving, if you want to create the business that you want to create and the legacy you want to have, what's getting in your way, and who do you need to be that? And what does that look like? Is that some tool you need? Is that learning? Is that letting go of some things? What does that look like? It's a real challenge to them as business people. And we do it very lovingly and very kindly. And we know it's for their betterment. So we are, in that vein. But there's something like I want them to really genuinely thrive in their uniqueness, their space, their passion, and the legacy they want to leave. And so when you talk about thriving, there's so many elements of that. I love the word thrive. It's a powerful word. Yeah. Well, I think also you said you're very honest. Like, I'm very honest. I'm not going to let you hide behind something. I'm not like going to let you do that because I care about you. Like, that's the thing. I care about you. And I know that's not really who you are, and it's not what you want to do. So what's holding you back in that space? So the next question is about, is there a book or an entrepreneur or even a podcast or maybe it was just even a quote that you heard that left like its mark on your soul because it just made you think differently, or maybe helped you get over something, or maybe empowered you in a way that you didn't feel empowered before?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's so many. Oh gosh. I think I read a lot, like a lot of founders. I read a lot. I do think right now I'm reading, it's a great book. It's Do Less by Kate Northrup. She talks about like, female founders who are moms and how you like regulate your schedule. And I use her advice for calendaring and things like that. She's awesome. Brene Brown, she talks about she's great. Vulnerability and leadership. She's awesome. Also very
shame and like the thing. Oh gosh, it's so good.
Yeah. And she's done a lot in organizations, which is really interesting and cool work. So I really enjoy those. And I like I like hearing, I'm lucky in what I do because I think I'm probably a less lonely founder. I'm lonelier in some ways because, I don't share my story with people, but I'm less lonely because I hear stories all day, every day from other founders. And so sometimes there can be this attitude, this comes up in therapy anyway, but especially when founders, I'm the only one. I'm the only one going through this. I'm like, I guarantee you are not. And so it normalizes all the things. And so it really helps me to be a remarkably more chill person because I'm like, it's not just me. That's just the way it goes. That's just the life cycle of a company. And this is the growth and this is how you learn. And you know, so I think I'm inspired a lot by my clients because they're just incredible human beings and they come thinking that they're showing me their mess. And I'm just massively impressed by who they are as human beings.
I love that so much. Even today, I was in a call with a potential client and she said, "It's like my business is so cyclical and I'm not getting profit yet. Like we're barely making ends meet. And it's been 20 years and I'm kind of embarrassed." And I was like, you are not alone. Do you know when people feel this? Like this is legitimate. But you know what you are doing is you're trying to fix it. Like you are trying. So you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. Like don't be embarrassed or feel like this is bad. You have a lot of tuition that you've learned over the last 20 years. Yeah. And now is the time. Now is your time. Like this is but it's the same thing. Like I feel like so many people come to us and talk about these things. I think they're all by themselves. One of the reasons why I love doing what I do here and sharing stories of people is exactly that. They have had the same challenges. They've overcome them. These are some of the ways that they've done that. And I think when you hear that, there's some sense of comfort. Okay, like you said, this is just the time in my business where it's going to feel like this. And I have to do these few things to like get myself past this or whatever. But there is something so powerful and I'm not alone in this.
Now, and we focus so much on outcome because we're that kind of society. But I did see a quote that was like, the first 5 years is when you get good. After that's when you get rich. Like, don't try to do it in the meantime. And Thrive had a really like high success curve, but whoa, I was hanging on, like it's tough. Like a lot of success is also really heavy. And I say to people, like starting a business is like surfing. You can sit on the beach and read books about it all day, but you're still going to get in the water and like knock yourself in the head, think you're going to drown, swallow a bunch of salt water. And that's how you learn, And so I think, again, doing enough things that you love and are passionate about are the only things that make that a process, like where you look at it as growth. I'll say that to people of like, look, you've got these things inside of you that, again, like build your company or we'll tear them down. And this experience, it can be like, like chemotherapy for your soul. You think it's going to kill you, but it's killing part of you that is not going to help you. Mm-hmm. It is taking things out of you. And on the other side of this, if you just keep hanging on, put one foot in front of the other, do mini breakdown snot cries and then put your makeup back on and get into a meeting and just keep going. On the other side, you're going to be like, wow, I'm so much stronger.
What is one unconventional tool or app that's become like the thing you can't live without as it relates to your business? Like it has transformed your business in some way or it helps it be easier?
So I started, it's called the Safe and Sound protocol. Like I started using that with my clients where it helps you to regulate your nervous system. And so it's an app that has like filtered music that really helps you to like get back to your baseline. So you don't feel like you're constantly stressed out and constantly in fight or flight. And it's because a lot of being a founder is nervous system management. The pain of entrepreneurship is inevitable. The suffering is a choice. And so it's been a really cool tool to train people to not let their nervous system drag them around the ups and downs and just be like cool as a cucumber. So I've really enjoyed that myself and with founders.
How do you keep your entrepreneurial spirit alive? What do you feed your spirit?
I always know when I'm in a bad spot with like the business and I'm focusing on the weeds too much because I don't feel like either creating or learning. And I can tell when I'm in a much better spot when I either get exciting ideas that I want to share and then I'm like, writing it or creating videos or something on our social media. Or like, I'm like, oh, I'm so curious about that. That's how I know because that's what keeps it alive. Because for me, it is constantly evolving. And I think also as an entrepreneur, you need to not get overly committed to the way you do your business or the exact, like, don't serve your brand. Your brand comes from you. You will evolve. And so, like I said, we've evolved. Thrive has evolved a lot over the years. And when I start to, which works out great because then there's like copycats and different things that come along for what you do. If you do it well, people are going to copy you. You're already on to the next thing. You're like, okay, enjoy that. I moved on. Like, so I think it's like being willing to evolve and seeing and keeping that fresh inside of me, realizing that that's what's creating the vision for the company.
Thank you for acknowledging the fact that you evolve as an entrepreneur. because we often share with our clients, like when you build a website, this is organic. It's not done ever. You will be tweaking, adding, removing. You might overhaul the entire thing, but this is a reflection of who you are as a person. And if you stopped evolving as a person, that would be really bad too. Don't ever think that, because I love to check stuff off my list. And I know entrepreneurs are like that too. And when I say, oh, the website's done, but it's not. Not ever done. And it's okay to like, okay, it's good. Like, this is good. And then maybe in a week or two, you're like, I want to tweak that. Like, that's okay. And what's nice is technology has allowed us to have more access. You don't have to know all the code. There's a lot of UX builders that help you like go in and change it. We actually do a whole training with our clients on how to use it. But this idea that it's organic and that it evolves, your business evolves, you evolve. It's never really done unless you sell it or retire or whatever. But this is a process, and it's okay to it's okay for it to be okay right now. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. And I think that's like, and then that helps let go of the idea of like perfect or like that's not a thing. But I would think like, be Netflix, not Blockbuster. Society's evolving. Don't be scared of it. Figure out how you can use it. And a lot of people are freaked out right now. Oh no, this is going to be taken away. Not if you like learn how to use it and just lean into it. Society will evolve if you go with it, and keep growing. We're meant to grow. And then again, it does help with, keeps you motivated and excited, because entrepreneurs always look like we're builders. You don't have to switch companies in order to build again. You just keep building and doing new things in your own. And if you don't feel like you're growing in your company, then you need to look at it and think, oh, okay, what can I change so I'm still inspired and I'm still growing personally too.
And that may be 2 years on the road that you need to continue. Like it may be a 2-year leap, or it may be a 2-month leap. Like whatever it is for you is what it is. Don't live anybody else's expectations in that. What if Thrive Psychology Group was an animal? Which creature would it embody and why?
The first thing that comes to mind, probably like a lion, because I think there's a lot of power, especially, even though we do serve all now, we really did start with serving women, and probably 75% of our clients are. There's this strength of strong people doing something together and really like owning it and not being afraid and taking risks and being bold and like living that lion life, I'll tell my clients sometimes, like when they're trying to like hide or be small, I'm like, don't use bunny rabbit strategies. That's not going to work. You need to use like lion strategies. Hide, be small, keep the target off your back. It doesn't work. That doesn't work in today's society. Be bigger and connect with other people who you can trust and have integrity and who are also doing their thing. And so I think combining with other people who are strong and doing it together. Human beings are pack animals. We're meant to do things together.
Yeah. One of our core values is fusion, because alone we are powerful, but together we create energy at a whole different level.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I like that idea of together, creating the partnerships that will help push you forward. And, even when I hire my team, I hire people who are way smarter than me because I have so much to learn. Wow. But yes, that idea of being big, don't be the bunny rabbit.
I'm going to be small. Even when I have clients like, oh no, someone said something bad about me on the internet. I'm like, well, blow that up with positive stuff. Be bigger. If you shrink, you're giving it space. Don't give that your energy. So just keep being you, keep being big. And there's going to be, if you're big, shots will come. So you better be big, and by that, just be authentic, be truly who you are. And then, just keep going as who you are. And then the shots will just not be a thing.
One of my favorite things I've seen on the internet, it's a meme that has been around a couple times. Like, I don't know if it's different businesses. I'm sure it's different businesses, but where a business had a negative review and they've like put it on their sandwich board on the sidewalk saying, this is the place where we serve whatever. And they completely own the thing. And I'm like, that is such a great place to live in. It's just, you're owning that. And it's like that, don't giving them the power of taking away your joy and your passion. And you can acknowledge that they have an opinion, but they don't, not necessarily right. And it's how you handle that I think shows the true essence of who you are. So there's even there's even psychology about if someone comes to your website and only sees all positive reviews, they don't believe it. They want to see some negative, how you handled those moments to show exactly who you are. So that's an opportunity for you to show exactly who you are, which is great.
Yeah. 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 And that's a Brene Brown thing. She talks about that, about like the man in the arena. She says it's like when you're in the arena doing the stuff, getting bloody. I think it's based on Invictus, like that poem, like, you are doing the stuff. It is so easy to sit in the cheap seats and throw, and with the internet, any person, any like, like anybody can have an opinion that you never would talk to. You wouldn't care about their opinion if you met them. They wouldn't be in the room with you and now all of a sudden you're getting like all bent out of shape. You don't know this person. And like, who has time to just sit there and take pot shots at people online? So, but but I find the most happy, supportive, great people are ones that are doing their thing because they don't have time to be taking punches and they know how hard it is and they're just impressed to be around other people doing it. So I think it's just who's the critic and who's the creator. Avoid the critics, stay with the creators. Just don't let it bug you because people will take shots and then look at it as like, if someone's taking shots with you, if it's like a client that's saying that might be different, but if there's other people that are like saying shots about you, like, well, okay, then that means that your light is enough that they're trying to take some of that.
That is the lightning round. Now we kind of move to like, I call it the blaze forward segment, but we actually kind of go forward and back and forward, but I think it all kind of relates. What is the long-term vision that you have for Thrive Psychology Group and how do you plan to continue to evolve to meet the changing needs? Like what are you seeing as far as trends and things like that right now for your clients and for you?
My goodness. Yeah. I'm kind of in that spot where I'm in like what do I want to do? There's like, they'll have multiple things going forward in your company at once. And so it's like some things I'm like clear path, sticking to our original vision. And then I'm trying to think of other ways to really serve and show up for people. Like I said, psychology is evolving so quickly. There's so much more with like technology we can use for, nervous system regulation. There's psychedelic assisted therapy is great, although that's a bit in the US tough state to state, There's a lot of somatic therapies. So there's different ways that we can move beyond talk therapy that I'm really wanting to like, and starting to incorporate more and more into the practice. Like I said, I've been doing like the safe and sound protocol. I've done EMDR for a long time, but different ways that we can use technology and heal people more from a body up approach as well as like a mind down approach. So kind of I don't know, it's a vague answer because I'm in the process of like, okay, how does that make sense? And adding it as we go. But yeah, probably on my wish list, love to do retreats. I've had people asking me about doing that for a long time. So I do that somewhat soon. But yeah, I think implementing more of those things. I'm still trying to be more offering the best that I can with the best integrity and the newest, best technologies that we have to really serve people and not getting stuck in the old ways just because that's what's being done. So evolving with the need is where I see us going.
If you look back on your journey as an entrepreneur and even as a therapist, I think that both inform who you are. What pivotal piece of advice do you wish you'd received earlier in your career? Like maybe when you were like 18, 19, college. And how might it have helped you, I don't know, save time, energy, resources, headaches, like all the things?
Yeah. So, gosh, I probably would have, I would say, so this is like one of my favorite like little mantras that I tell myself, you'll have what you need when you get there. Because I think that like a lot of times I would look at something when I was young and think, oh, I could never, have my face out there. Like, what if someone criticizes me? I'm fine, like, because I became the person that I needed on the journey. I think a lot of times we try to judge how we're going to handle future things, including success, by who we are now. And so now I look at it as like, well, yeah, there's a journey between here and there. So, and a lot of times when people are coming to me and they're saying like, oh, how could I ever do this and that? I'm like, because by the time you get there, you would have done the process, and you're going to be a different person. Let it change you. Let it change you. Lean in, let it change you as you go for the good, grow you, deepen you, ground you. And I think I would have said, like, don't worry about what you're able to do. Just follow your passion and you'll learn the skills as you go. And also you have no idea what you're capable of. Like, I think at this point I have a much more, in some ways I know more about myself. In a lot of ways I've let go of it. I mean, we get a fixed identity way too early. And then we like lock down on like who we were in junior high, who we were at 20. That's terrible. God forbid that be where we end up, and we're like, I could never. Really? Could you never? Or let's talk about how you could. If you really want to, you could, And so I think for me, there's been so many things that I've done that I never thought I could be okay and survive and really overcome, thrive, like through the process. And I'm like, I would have just said, just try it. And then you'll have what you need when you get there. And now that's how I approach things, much less trying to guess down the road potential things for 5 years. I don't know, but I know I'm willing to grow. So yeah. That's what I told myself. I probably would have gotten here a little bit faster, but maybe not.
What practical advice do you have that after this episode airs, they listen, they push stop, they move up on their life? What practical advice that you think you can offer to an entrepreneur that they could like implement today? Like they can get off this podcast and go do something that has a pretty profound or even a small impact on them or their business.
I mean, I think, especially when you have a smaller company or maybe even when you have a bigger company, it all starts with you, like the founder. And so we get in this thing where we're willing to sacrifice ourselves and we think, I don't know, we treat ourselves like some factory worker of like, I'm just going to work myself to death and make all the things. I'm like, you are the source of creation. And so you need to take care of yourself first. So my advice would be take the time you don't think you have to actually invest in yourself at the beginning of the day to really get yourself in a good spot. Start with the journaling, start with the gratitude, start with the intentional calendaring, start with reading something inspirational, like feed yourself, feed your soul in the morning. Take the time before you even look at your email. I don't look at my email anymore when I first wake up at all. I have like other things that I look at that inspire me and before I even look at it. And then the first thing I do when I open my eyes is I say how grateful I am for what I have. Because what you were saying of like entrepreneurs move the goalpost and it's never enough. It's never enough. And you're not going to, unless what is today is enough. And there's always something to be grateful for. So I before I even get out of bed, I go through all my gratitudes and and say, thank you that I'm here. Thank you that my kids are here. Thank you for my beautiful lights. Thank you I have a roof over my head. Like all the basic things even. And then I start from that place and everything else just sorts itself in the day. But if I let everything outside be the thing I'm reacting to, I'm a mess. I lose my focus. I don't prioritize. I don't delegate, and I'm a mess. So it's take care of the source. And, you are the soil with which, your company grows from it, that tree of what you're creating. Mm-hmm. And if you're a mess, your company's going to be impacted by it. Mm-hmm. So take care of you.
Yeah, I think it's a great one. So before we go, please share with our listeners about where they can learn about Thrive Psychology Group and keep up with any of your latest projects or what you've been up to.
Yeah. So website is mythrivepsychology.com. That's a great place to see the services we offer, states we're in, new things we're doing. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. And so I share a lot of advice, and I share a lot for founders too, because I find that there is stuff that's out there, but maybe not from like a mental health perspective. So I do have a real passion for that. So I'll try to share things that I'm like, oh, if I shared this with a couple of my clients, probably would help other people. So I just love to do that and teach. So online, social media, that's the best place to learn about us, and you can outreach us to the website.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Ruan, for sharing these tips, sharing your journey. I think all of the entrepreneurs that are listening and people who are builders can all relate and, again, make them not feel so alone on this journey of entrepreneurship and building. I think it's invaluable to them to take the time to invest in themselves and do the work to help them be as successful in this life. It's a very short amount of life that we have to live and make impact. And I think being as healthy as possible mentally is key to that. Thank you. To our listeners, I really hope you found this episode as enlightening as I did. And remember, you can share these insights as well as implement them in your own business in some way, shape, or form, or your life. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Dr. Ruan. We would love to talk to you and answer any questions. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations and actionable tips that you can use to spark your marketing and ignite your entrepreneurial journey on future episodes of the Spark and Ignite Your Marketing podcast. But until next time, keep sparking and igniting.